What's the play ball? Three, 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 three. Ball four. Take your break. Three, 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 three. Three, three, three. Take your break. Ball four.
Great Sunday action lies ahead, but first, here's what happened in the major leagues on Saturday. Starting in the AL East, Ty Blach got the win, his 6th so far this year, helping the Orioles defeat the Giants 2-0. Aaron Judge was a force at the plate, driving in 3 runs, leading the Yanks to a win over the rival Red Sox 5-4. He is currently in the top 5 in the American League in slugging percentage. The Tampa Bay Rays totaled 11 hits as they grabbed the win over the visiting Twins The trade deadline looms large. Welcome to Inside the Show. Starting in the AL East, the Orioles grabbed 13 hits in the game as they grabbed a victory over the Padres at Petco Park, 7-2. It was their 5th straight victory. The Kansas City Royals allowed only 5 hits in the game as they took down the visiting Blue Jays 6-1. The Detroit Tigers put together 10 total hits as they pulled off the win against the Angels in Orange County 4-2. The Diamondbacks got 12 hits in this one as they manhandled the Marlins 11-4. The Atlanta Braves combined for a 4-hitter as they took down the Nationals in Washington 2-1. Anthony DeSclafani got the win, number 7 thus far, as Cincinnati got the best of the Pirates 5-3. The Rockies held the opposition at bay with only 4 hits as they got the best of the Dodgers at home 4-1. That's the show for today. Tune in tomorrow for all the latest news and rumors as the trade deadline approaches. Welcome to Inside the Show. It's the wild day that is the trade deadline. Looking first at the American League East, Joey Lucchesi picked up win number 8 this year as the Pods disposed of Baltimore 7-2. Also from Baltimore, first baseman Chris Davis has been waived by the organization. The Arizona Diamondbacks hit 3 long balls as they took down the Yankees in the Bronx 6-3. Scott Barlow got his 3rd win this season as Kansas City took care of the Blue Jays 4-2. The Red Sox allowed only 5 hits as a staff as they beat the visiting Rays 7-2. The White Sox pounded out 17 hits in this one as they got the best of the visiting Mets 12-7. The Houston Astros combined for 10 hits as a team as they beat the Tribe in Cleveland 4-3. The win was their 5th straight as a team. The Tigers knocked out 12 hits as a team as they pulled off the win against the Angels in Orange County 7-3. The A's sent 3 balls into the seats as they got the best of the Brewers at home 4-3. The Texas Rangers had Welcome, everyone. Let's jump right in and revisit the news and events from Monday. TGIF, and welcome to Inside the Show. Starting out west in the American League, Austin Meadows had an outstanding 5 hits at the dish as the Rays took down the Astros 7-5. He extended his hitting streak to a modest 6 straight games. Jorge Polanco grabbed 3 base knocks, helping It's officially scoreboard watching season as the regular season comes to a close. Here on Inside the Show. Starting in the AL East, the Boston Red Sox combined to give up just 5 hits as they blew out Baltimore 9-1. As of right now, the Red Sox have now clinched one of 2 AL wildcard spots with the win, while the Orioles are 4th in the division. They're over 20 games out of first. Rowdy Tellez made the difference with a 2-home-run effort as Toronto took care of the Rays 3-2. At the start of the day, the Blue Jays are in last place in the AL East. They're over 20 games out of first. And the Rays are 3rd in the division. They're over 20 games out of first. The Yankees knocked out 10 hits as a team as they got the win in a laugher against the Rangers 8-1. As of today, the Rangers are in 4th place in the AL West. They're over 20 games out of first. And the Yankees are leading the AL East. They hold a comfortable 8-game advantage. The Detroit Tigers launched 3 home runs as they beat the White Sox on the south side 5-3. Heading into the day, the White Sox are in 3rd place in the AL Central, 13 games out. And the Tigers are fourth in the division. They're over 20 games out of first. The Twins completed a 3-game series sweep as they stole a victory in extra innings over the Royals, 8-6. They now have 5 straight wins. Entering the day's action, the Royals sit in last place in the American League Central Division. They're over 20 games out of first. And the Twins are atop the division, 1 game ahead of second. The Astros finished off the 4-game sweep as they pulled off the win against the Angels in Orange County, 8-6. It was their 5th straight victory. At the start of the day, the Angels are in 3rd place in the AL West. They're over 20 games out of first, while the Astros are atop the division. They are more than 10 games ahead of second place. The Mariners totaled 13 hits as a team as they grabbed the win against the visiting Athletics, 6-2. As of today, the Mariners are in last place in the AL West. They're over 20 games out of first. And the Athletics are second in the division, 19 games out of first. The Nationals hit 3 long balls as they got a dramatic walk-off win against the Indians, 3-2. In the standings, the Nationals sit in 4th place in the National League East Division, 12 games behind first place. And the Indians are in 2nd place in the AL Central, but they currently hold a spot in the AL wildcard race. The Braves racked up 11 hits as a team as they took care of the Mets at Citi Field, 6-5. Entering the day's action, the Mets sit in 3rd place in the National League East Division, 11 games out of first. And the Braves are atop the division, yet they currently hold a spot in the race for the National League wild card. Andrew McCutchen plated 5 on the day with 2 big flies, leading Philadelphia to victory over the Marlins, 10-3. The win was their 5th straight as a team. As of right now, the Phillies are atop the National League East Division. They are more than 10 games ahead of second, while the Marlins are at the bottom of the division. They're over 20 games out of first. The Reds finished off a 3-game sweep as they defeated the Pirates at PNC Park, 5-1. At the start of the day, the Pirates sit in 3rd place in the National League Central Division. They're over 20 games out of first, while the Reds are 4th in the division. They're over 20 games out of first. Yadier Molina drove home 3 runs as the Cardinals beat their rival Cubs 7-3. Heading into the day, the Cardinals are in 2nd place in the NL Central. They're over 20 games out of first. And the Cubs have now clinched the NL Central Division and a postseason berth. They will be playing in October. The Diamondbacks starting pitcher, number 29, got his first career win as the Diamondbacks took care of the Padres 3-1. As of today, the Diamondbacks sit in 3rd place in the National League West Division. They're over 20 games out of first, while the Padres are 4th in the division. They're over 20 games out of first. Harrison Musgrave earned his first victory of the season, leading the Rockies to a win against Milwaukee, 5-2. Entering the day's action, the Rockies are in 2nd place in the NL West, but they currently lead the NL wildcard race. And the Brewers sit in 4th place in the National League Central Division. They're over 20 games out of first. Clayton Kershaw won the game, finishing a complete game 1-hitter as the Dodgers defeated the rival Giants 9-0. He currently has the most wins in the National League. At the start of the day, the Giants sit in last place in the National League West Division. They're over 20 games out of first, while the Dodgers are atop the division. They are more than 10 games ahead of second. The final postseason teams are jockeying for position. Welcome to Inside the Show. Starting off in the National League East, the Atlanta Braves totaled 11 hits as they got the best of the Phillies in Citizens Bank Park, 10-6. In the standings, the Phillies sit in 2nd place in the National League East Division, 1 game out of first, while the Braves are atop the division, 1 game ahead of second. Thanks for listening in to this pennant chase. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Inside the Show, your source for all postseason news. Here's a recap of yesterday's playoff baseball. In Game 5 of the World Series, the Houston Astros combined to allow only 4 hits as they nabbed the win against the visiting Cubs 5-2. They now have a 3-2 series lead going into Game 6. And that'll do it for today's postseason recap. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Hi there, everyone. Welcome to this special postseason edition of Inside the Show. For Game 6 of the World Series, the Astros knocked out 12 hits as a team as they bested the Cubbies at Wrigley Field, clinching the World Series championship. It has been a storybook season for them, and they will look to repeat as champions next year. It's Monday morning and welcome to Inside the Show. Starting in the AL East, the Minnesota Twins earned the 4-game series sweep as they got the win in extra innings over the Orioles 2-1. They now have 5 straight wins. As of today, the Twins sit in 3rd place in the American It's Monday morning and welcome to Inside the Show. Looking first at the American League East, the Indians put together 10 total hits as they took down the visiting Orioles 4-3. Entering the day's action, the Indians are in third place in the AL Central, and the Orioles sit in third place in the American League East Division. The Rays swung it well with 15 hits in the game as they took down the visiting Blue Jays 11-10. As of right now, the Rays sit in last place in the American League East Division, and the Blue Jays are fourth in the division. The New York Yankees combined for 10 hits as a team as they beat the visiting Red Sox 5-3. In the standings, the Yankees sit in second place in the American League East Division, and the Red Sox are atop the division. The Kansas City Royals allowed only 5 hits as a staff as they sank the Mariners 12-1. Heading into the day, the Royals sit in fourth place in the American League Central Division, and the Mariners sit in last place in the American League West Division. The Minnesota Twins got 11 hits overall as they got the best of the visiting Redbirds 5-2. At the start of the day, the Twins are in first place in the AL Central, while the Cardinals sit in second place in the National League Central. The Oakland Athletics earned the 3-game series sweep as they defeated the visiting Angels 6-2. As of right now, the A's are in second place in the AL West, and the Angels are third in the division. The Houston Astros brought out the brooms in a 3-game sweep as they grabbed the win over the Rangers in Arlington 4-3. The win was their 7th in a row. As of today, the Rangers sit in fourth place in the American League West, and the Astros are atop the division. The Tigers combined for a 4-hitter as they took down the Fish in Miami 4-2. Heading into the day, the Marlins are in last place in the NL East, while the Tigers are in last place in the AL Central. Max Scherzer got the W, his 11th this season, leading Washington to a win against the Mets 6-2. He is currently leading the National League in strikeouts. In the standings, the Nationals are in third place in the NL East, and the Mets are atop the division. Vince Velasquez earned win number 7 this season as the Phillies took care of the Braves 7-3. As of right now, the Phillies are in second place in the NL East, and the Braves are fourth in the division. The Cubs finished off a 2-game sweep as they took down the Chi Sox in front of a home crowd 5-3. It was their 7th straight victory. At the start of the day, the Cubs are atop the NL Central, and the White Sox sit in second place in the AL Central Division. Corbin Burns won his 4th game thus far as the Brewers took care of the Reds 7-3. As of today, the Brewers sit in last place in the National League Central Division, and the Reds are third in the division. The Dodgers launched 3 home runs as they took care of the Rocks in Colorado 8-5. It was their 5th straight victory. Heading into the day, the Rockies are in third place in the NL West, and the Dodgers are atop the division. The San Diego Padres knocked out 10 hits as a team as they sank the visiting Buccos 4-3. In the standings, the Padres sit in second place in the National League West Division, while the Pirates are in fourth place in the NL Central. The Arizona Diamondbacks got 12 hits in this one as they dismantled the Welcome to Inside the Show. It's the wild day that is the trade deadline. Looking first at the American League East, the New York Yankees sent 3 balls into the seats as they beat the O's in Baltimore 6-4. The Rays racked up 11 hits as a team as they got the extra inning victory over the Blue Jays 5-4. The Texas Rangers smacked 15 team hits as they beat the White Sox on the South Side 6-4. The Minnesota Twins swung it well with 15 hits in the game as they bested the visiting Nats 11-7. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim went deep 4 times as they grabbed the win against the visiting Reds 5-4. Freddie Freeman launched 3 solo home runs as the Braves took care of Kansas City 8-7. He is currently riding a 14-game hitting streak. The San Diego Padres grabbed 13 hits in the game as they took care of the Mets at Citi Field 5-3. The Phils only allowed 2 hits in the game as they nabbed the win against the visiting Cubs 6-2. The Pittsburgh Pirates completed a 3-game series sweep as they got the best of the visiting Redbirds 4-0. German Marquez grabbed win number 6 on the year as Colorado got the best of the Dodgers 5-3. They continue to win as they now have 9 straight. And that's the show. The trade deadline is only hours away, so don't forget to check in tomorrow for a full recap of the day's events. Happy Friday, baseball fans. Welcome to Inside the Show. Looking first at the American League East, the Baltimore Orioles put together 10 total hits as they took down the Rays in St. Petersburg 6-3. Entering the day's action, the Rays sit in fourth place in the American League East division. They're over 20 games out of first, while the Orioles are third in the division. They're 15.5 games out of first. The Toronto Blue Jays totaled 11 hits as they bested the visiting Rockies 4-3. As of right now, the Blue Jays are in last place in the AL East. They're over 20 games out of first. And the Rockies sit in third place in the National League West Division, 19 games out of first. The Cleveland Indians combined for 10 hits as a team as they beat the visiting Red Sox 4-3. At the start of the day, the Indians are in second place in the AL Central, only a half game back, while the Red Sox sit in first place in the American League Eastern Division. They are more than 10 games ahead of second place. Great Sunday action lies ahead, but first, here's what happened in the major leagues on Saturday. Starting in the AL East, the Jays held the opposition at bay with only 4 hits as they beat the O's in Baltimore 5-1. Heading into the day, the Orioles are in third place in the AL East. They're 15 games back, while the Blue Jays are at the bottom of the division. They're over 20 games out of first. The Yankees combined for
Play ball. 3. Ball 4, take the base. Ball 4, take the base. Take the base, ball 4. Ball 4, take the base. Ball 4, take the base. Take the base, ball 4. Ball 4, take the base. 3. Ball 4, take the base. 3. Take the base, ball 4. 3.
Your attention, please. Pinch hitter. This check. This
take the base.
Now playing right field. Number 67. Your attention, please. Now pitching for the Orioles. Number 82, Gabriel Ynoa.
The regular season is winding down, but the postseason races are heating up. Here's how yesterday's nail-biting action went down. Looking first at the American League East, the Baltimore Orioles picked up 14 hits in total as they took down the visiting Blue Jays 6-5. As of today, the Orioles sit in third place in the American League East division. They're 15 games back. And the Blue Jays are at the bottom of the division. They're over 20 games out of first. The New York Yankees swatted 4 home runs in this one as they took down the Rays in St. Petersburg 5-1. As of right now, the Rays are in fourth place in the AL East. They're over 20 games out of first, while the Yankees have now clinched one of 2 AL wildcard spots with the win. Michael Chavis had 3 hits in the game, driving in 3, as the Red Sox downed the Mariners 5-2. In the standings, the Mariners are in last place in the AL West. They're over 20 games out of first. And the Red Sox are in first place in the AL East, an impressive 10 games ahead of second. The Royals' first baseman, number 9, launched 2 home runs and added 5 RBIs to his total, leading the Royals to the win over the Tigers 6-2. Entering the day's action, the Tigers sit in last place in the American League Central Division. They're over 20 games out of first. Hi there, everyone. Welcome to this special postseason edition of Inside the Show. For the 7th and final game of the Major League Baseball World Series, the Chicago Cubs knocked out 10 hits as a team as they beat the Tribe in Cleveland, clinching the World Series championship. It has been a storybook season for them, and they will look to repeat as champions next year.